better, more qualified to ask that.
I like the black market because I feel like nobody's in your business.
Facts.
That's really what it
and
comes
then,
down
they
to.
They say the black market weed is better than dispensary weed. You believe that myth?
I believe that.
That because the mainstream weed is regulated, so guys might be fixed. It can't go up and down or really be as you want it to be to get you super doped up, right?
Well, the thing is this, right? A higher quality weed or better quality weed in any market, or a better quality anything in any market, always costs more, right?
Yeah.
So now, if I gotta charge you, if you're already paying $60 for an average, a basic grow, you know what I mean, which is good. It's not amazingly great. It's good. Maybe it might be really good. But they're charging you $80.
We got last scene here acting fucking crazy.
High Times Mama decided to bring her dog.
The Great today. King Corso.
She gave me shit about it when I brought my dogs on the podcast day. Yeah, I like that though. Otherwise, it's gonna get real cold in here. Let's go live on this. We went live on all the podcasts.
Yes, sir. Ski, y'all.
This is 448 Cannabis Talk. Alongside me is Sonny Packs. I'm your host, Moby Dink.
Call me Sonny.
We're here every week. Sonny, today is February 15th, the day after Valentine's Day.
Thank God that shit is over.
Everybody had a wonderful
Thank God that's over
Valentine's Day. We're here live from the Penthouse Cafe in New York City.
How was your Valentine's Day?
Joining us in the building is Elroy Jetson.
This nigga always here, man.
That's what's up. We like having Elroy.
This nigga might as well just be.
We enjoy having Elroy in the building, We enjoy it.
Yo, how was your Valentine's Day?
My Valentine's Day was great.
You pulled out the stops?
I was here.
You was here?
I was here.
I was at work too, bro. Shit, I had to pay rent today. Ain't nothing stopping that.
On the 15th, you pay? Oh, you pay every 2 weeks?
Yeah, man. I've been doing the 15th, man.
Oh, you pay on the 15th?
Yep, man. So it wasn't too much lovey-dovey, spending that money. It wasn't too much lovey-dovey spending money.
We were here. We worked. We had some pizza,
Word.
some penny vodka with shrimp and broccoli.
Word.
The basics. Nothing crazy, right?
I just sat in the crib with my dog.
But it was good. The Penthouse Cafe was in the building.
Love was in the air yesterday.
The black leather.
I'm just gonna put some fancy shit like you usually do. $1 million like that.
In my bag. Look at this guy set himself on fire.
Look at my coat.
Set your pants on fire.
Look at my coat.
What'd you do to your jacket?
Same shit that's happened to my pants.
You can't be doing that. You a little reckless. That's why I don't like smoking and drinking.
Real stoners go through that, burn everything up, man.
Yeah, facts.
I don't know. You want my car seat? Oh,
can I get a bag of chips?
Oh, we tasting that today? Everyone trying to front on these exotic snacks, my nigga. And these shits is better. Like, Lena, pass that cheddar jalapeno. That shit fire.
I'll take
the
barbecue chuck mix or something.
Yes, sir. Ski.
So the Penthouse Cafe has a wide variety of exotic snacks. Thanks to Sonny Packs, who has brought the idea to light here for us.
Yeah, man.
It'd only be genius of us to do something like this.
Oh, you see, that's what we do. Sometimes we gotta show somebody something that it'll benefit them. Like, you feel what I'm trying to say? That's my man. I want to see you in every aspect of the market. You know that's what you gotta get in here? What you need?
What's that?
Motherfucking the pink horsepowers. None of these niggas in here believe in here horny.
I don't like these.
Why you don't like these? You tried them?
I'm not a fan of those.
Nah, you bugging, bro.
Having me them
you
barbecue
bugging,
checks
bro.
right there. The red bag. No, over.
Yeah, the red one.
The red one. Yep.
You didn't even try these.
I've tried
cheddar. These?
Yeah.
This is my second cheddar jalapeno.
I really like the these right here, but the sour cream and onion ones.
Listen, the Lay's cheddar jalapeno is cool, but you gotta try the Doritos.
You can tell from the attack of the snacks.
Niggas is hiring at the munchies. Yo, I haven't
eaten lunch yet, or
these shits is fire, Mo. You bugging barbecue? Who the fuck is still eating barbecue chips?
The Penthouse Cafe is now open during the day.
And we serving, I got my own hot chocolate. I got my own hot chocolate and I fucked it up, y'all. This you come in here, yeah. Listen, you come in here, you gonna ask for the. Hey, what was the name of my shit? Yeah, the Sunny Cocoa Pack. You know what I'm saying? Get a Sunny Cocoa Pack. This what it consists of. That fire ass good hot chocolate. I think they're getting that cocoa from DR. If it tastes like the shit hot chocolate from DR. No cap. That's real cocoa in there. You gotta get the marshmallows. You gotta get the cinnamon. You gotta buy the cookie. That cheesecake. That cheesecake filling drink. The Chips Ahoy drink.
What Chips Ahoy drink?
Right there with the raspberry. White. The pink bag. One time.
Oh, the pink box.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just mad good.
You gotta put that in the hot chocolate though. Oh, we.
I don't say it.
Oh. I should try these. It's barbecue, bro.
I know. Let me try one.
Barbecue. These right here, money.
This is honey barbecue.
Those right there is honey, Mo. What you talking about?
How was everybody's weekend? Everybody have a good weekend?
Yeah, I know. Shit's fire.
You ain't bad either.
Them shit is fire.
That's really good.
I know.
That was good selection.
Listen. They might be a little more costly than the average bag of potato chips that's sold here routinely in the U.S. But this is different. There's something different. I'm getting a delivery. Let's hold on.
Shout out jalapeno, man.
Mark,
Got flavor.
is that? Yeah. Thank you very much.
Want me to get on camera?
Boom! Just like that. Delivery received.
Shout out to my boy Mark.
Signed for. Signed, sealed, and
My boy
delivered.
Marky Mark. He upgraded to. You must like how Mark rolling butts.
Oh,
He put Lena to shame, huh?
no.
Lena don't touch them shits still, no.
You do. You know,
It's
the
just
thing
regular,
is,
bro.
she was taking 15, 20 minutes to roll some.
This shit's just regular. It's kind of trash.
Nah, you wildin', bro. This is straight barbecue sauce. This is honey barbecue sauce, bro. This is not barbecue chicken. This is not barbecue beef. This is not shish kebab barbecue. This is barbecue, honey barbecue sauce.
It's not, don't taste better than cheddar jalapeno. You taste this? Taste this.
Yeah, I've had them.
Why you don't Lay's, man? Cheddar barbecue.
These are Lay's. What did you do this weekend, Sonny? I didn't see you. Penthouse Cafe had a pop-up. It was very good. It was a great success.
I missed that. When I was coming, I was packing up, but I was stuck at my store all weekend. Girl, I was having a little back problem, so I made her take the week off. I learned that from you.
Okay.
She called out one day, told her to take 3 days off.
Bang.
So,
That's sacrifice of a boss. You've got to work those days yourself.
so you see what I'm trying to say? So I was stuck working them days myself. I'm all fucking since Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm at the store.
Okay.
Even went there yesterday.
I'll be
Valentine's Day,
there.
open it up.
All right. Good
I
shit.
was there today. She came in late, so I'm gonna penalize her again for that.
How'd that go? Good? Everything good?
You know, you pay people. People come in late and they miss days. Fuck it. That's when I gotta pay them. You feel me?
Check this out.
Well, where you get that from?
Shout out to the homie Miles, one of the partners over at Turtle Pie Co., who actually walked into the dispensary and bought me eights from the dispensary to send back with one of my partners and colleagues who came to visit me this week.
That's Lolo.
Yeah, this is the Lolo. Check out the percentage on this, man. You ready? THC, 30.89% THC, man. That's some crazy shit.
What's Delta 9?
It's like a,
I heard that's an 8.
like a triangle come out. Look at that.
Low.
Fire though.
It should look good as shit. It's pretty as a motherfucker.
Pretty as a motherfucker, right? If I can get a tray, maybe we'll open it up. Take a look at it.
Bring a tray down. Okay.
No, we got a clean tray.
You got to cross contaminate.
What is that? What is that?
That's Lucky Charms mixed with Zilla.
The Nugget Charms is real nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the shit right here.
There we go.
That's just snake.
You got phone calls over there. High Times Mama back in the building with the dog. Her King Corso. She's like 5 months, she's a baby. We're not mad at her.
One of the best dogs on the market. You think pit bulls and bullies. The King Corso, a Belgian Malinois, they keep your family safe.
Got the man munchies.
We just reviewing these snacks today.
I got the one.
Bali. Got a lot of flavor.
What about these? Because they got a lot of flavor. This episode is brought to you by Lay's, Poppables, Honey Barbecue, Barbecue Al Yin. Where are these from? These are from Canada, but obviously the French-speaking part of Canada, because it's in fucking French.
And the Lay's Shadow Jalapeno.
From where?
Canada. He's a
From
Canadian.
Also from Canada.
He's a Canadian.
Dog should be nice and quiet for a little while. She's gonna eat.
She did everything.
She got her leash in the food. That's all right. She's gonna live in DR.
He's shipping the dog out.
She's gonna be a farm dog. She's a good dog.
No, it's a very, very
Beautiful
good dog.
dog.
That's a good investment dog.
Yeah. You want one, Sonny?
Soon.
You let me know when you're ready. Forget about these French pugs.
Huh.
Forget about these dogs.
That or
Right.
Belgian Malinois. Either or. Either one.
Yo, don't be eating my average chips, but a handful no less.
I got the monkeys.
Don't be eating my average chips by a handful.
I took 3 pieces. I took a little piece of that joint.
What's going on, everybody? How's everybody feeling?
How was the pop-up shop? I fucking missed it. It was lit.
Yeah, cheese is good.
It was mad early though, from 2 to 6. I said, damn.
Should have said, yo, they was dope.
Since when we started doing events that early?
You know what? The truth is,
Lean up.
we are very diverse here.
Hot Times Mama.
Very diverse.
Who played that 2 to 6 thing going there?
Lena Pacina in the building.
Who gave her that name? Me? Is she the boss? Like Al Pacino. Mob style.
We have a very special guest joining us today, as we're just getting started here.
Enjoyable edibles.
Enjoyable Edibles owner, CEO.
That's the
and
edibles
president
that the 600 milligram drinks.
500 milligram ones and a blackout brownie.
All right, so we're on the edible killer.
So we're going to talk a little bit today about, what it's like to be in the edible game on that kind of level, because this isn't coming out of a apartment kitchen, or a house kitchen. They're coming out of laboratories that are built, facilities that are built specifically for this type of production of homemade, baked type goods in this market.
Yeah, sent that shit out somebody's kitchen, man. This shit gotta get.
Yeah, man, call us.
This shit gotta get inspected and checked.
Yeah. So, just like the exotic snacks we got here in these bags that are much on the table, these edibles are well above the mark on exotic snacks and tier of quality and production. production. Sonny eats these edibles a lot.
Which ones?
The little square gummy ones.
That's from them?
That's from them.
You lying.
It's him.
But them edibles is fucking good. Them shits, everybody who be getting them shits, them shits be fucking niggas up. I was putting Elroy on some shits today.
So I'm bringing on. Oh, we have Anubis. Are we hooked up over here?
Yeah.
Let's see if we can bring on Anubis.
You gotta put your headphones on.
Okay. Let's see, we're trying to get Anubis on the line. Dance our guy.
What's up, gang?
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Ain't shit, man. Tapping in
Thank
on
you
the
for
road right
joining
now.
us On
What's up,
448
player?
Talk, man.
What's good, man?
Where
You know
you
what
at?
time it is. But
How far
I'm
are you?
actually right here. I'm by can't drop the location, you know. But
Right,
I'm
right,
over
right.
here in Queens and shit.
Okay.
But the good side of Queens.
Okay.
I heard that.
Not the side that Sonny's from. That's what you say.
Well, I'm on the same side he from, so
Oh, okay. You guys are neighbors.
kinda.
I like that. I like that. Keeping the team close together. We like that.
Yeah, man. So what's good, man? Who's that guest today, man? I'm interested in him.
Our guest
Talking about
today
edibles.
is Jason from enjoyables.ca in California, who is nationwide recognition in the CBD market and the legal market in California as well.
I want to get into that CBD market, man.
Man, that's dope, bro.
CBD seems like there's no real competition in there, and if you could just package it and promote it the right way, you probably could do better in that CBD shit than in the mainstream marijuana shit.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm about to start tapping into that CBD world.
You know, at the end of the day, it's always better to get actually infused product than anything that's sprayed on or tumbled in. You know what I mean? You want,
And you don't know the quality.
Right.
And the quality they're using, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So we expect to have a good show today. We're gonna discuss a lot of things, you know, because he was one time in the black market, you know, and then of course you go into the safe market. I may be wrong about that. He may have started in the safe market because I know he's very conscious about legalities and things like that. He tries to always stay in the proper zoning for what's within his means. So he's a real good dude. We're excited to have him aboard. He should be back here in a little while.
Well, he was just here, real cool guy, man.
He was just here. He stepped out. He went to go get himself.
I didn't even know he was making my edibles, man. Shout out to that guy. I've been fucked up, bro. I ain't even gonna hold
This nigga the audience.
He's
He's nigga don't even know the chef is right next to him, son.
Sit in the same room as the guy making the filet mignon.
Word. I've been eating them shit. I was eating them shits today. Going my car got an open case. Me and Elroy's eating them shits. I'm kind of high right now.
Elroy's like, yo, pass those.
Some fucking edibles.
So yo, what we got? What 12 along got planned coming up?
A whole lot of fire shit. We about to
I tell you the truth, we have I think 3 new
Strudels.
drops coming this Friday.
Strudels might be one of them.
Right? I don't think Strudels is in there, is it?
I think so.
No.
What you mean, no?
No.
I mean, no.
No, we're not ready for
High time with mama back on her bullshit again.
We're not, you know she calls the shots.
I know.
Back.
But they supposed to be printing the
No,
bags
it's
though.
just not there.
No, I know.
She's like,
The
yo,
bag's
Mo.
supposed to be printed though.
She's like, yo, Mo, you want to work out of the Penthouse? I'm like, yeah, of course I would love that. She's like, all right, then you got to do what I say. I'm like, damn, like that. She's like, yeah, I can't have you messing with my shit, messing with my flow.
You still hiring?
Look, she stole my blunt, lit my blunt.
Word.
You know, boss lady, bro. Boss lady.
Go in your ashtray, spark the weed up. No
Look.
kiss.
Just got a special delivery.
Oh, that's fuck. Mark, I'm starting to get
Right there.
jealous.
I think there's another delivery coming. Is that one mine too?
No.
Who's that? You just taking my Dutchess?
Mark, I'm starting to feel jealous, man.
Yo,
You know, Dutchess
what's
are
that turtle?
Wednesdays.
What's that turtle pie? What's that turtle pie you shit you had there?
Oh,
Alright.
you've been watching for a
Open that
minute,
shit,
haven't
Mark. You
you?
got a tray?
Look.
So they can open that shit. Yo, you got G's?
Oh, they brought it back?
Well, this is out in dispensaries in California. So one of the owners of the Turtle Pie
She's fine.
went to a dispensary because one of the other owners was coming.
She's okay.
And went and bought me 2 8s. High Times Mama smoked one of them. And I should have hold these for me.
Why we not smoking? That's a review.
and she smoked one. She
No, we
must have
can't.
not had anything
I'm gonna
around.
slap the
And she
shit out of
just,
somebody. Who's gonna get the vision off.
and you know, it's okay because we share around here. So she said she's gonna go to California next week and pick up 2 or 3 jars for me.
We can open it.
I'm not using this.
Listen,
Look
if
at
that's
this.
something
There's
that you
ashes in
really
here.
want,
There's
I
brown
can
sugar. What
make
is
that
this? Shit.
What's up with you, nigga?
No.
That was disrespectful. Why would you do that?
Get that shit out of here. Disrespectful as you bringing me a tray with fucking ashes and fucking cigarette marks in it for a fucking $100 eighth that somebody bought me as a gift.
This nigga more than lost his fucking mind in here, man.
And that not valid? That not valid? That's
Everybody
valid.
looking at you like you tweaking.
Nah, that was. You know what? You gotta put a little twist to the. You gotta put a little twist to the show.
This nigga Moby is crazy. This nigga flipped the whole fucking tray.
How do you guys feel about Snoop Dogg smoking at the Super Bowl?
Shout out to
I thought that
Uncle
was great.
Snoop, man.
Shout out.
Man,
Legendary.
Snoop is the best.
Mark, can I get a clean tray?
That is.
Again.
Man, I would give this nigga shit. Yo,
Hey, Mark, that's clean?
shout out to fucking Snoop Dogg. That nigga was smoking
That's not a tray you
while
bring me?
performing at the Super Bowl. That's
My nigga, shout out to
Fire.
everybody in the Super Bowl.
Yo,
thanks to Jay-Z. We don't gotta listen to Garth Brooks no more.
shout out to everybody in the game.
Word.
But the fucking the ball holder for the field goal unit on the Rams fumbling that fucking ball cost me $75,000. You're a real piece of shit.
What?
Go fuck
How?
yourself.
Wow, you bet
Who's in
halftime?
the pool?
Nah, because I was in the score change.
Who's in
So
the
that would
pool?
have been 7-0 the whole way, and then I would have hit the final. Would have been 75,000 or better. I would have
Yeah.
crushed him.
Wow.
Well, I had Cincinnati. I told you Cincinnati. I had Cincinnati with the points. I'm not stupid. So I came out a winner. You feel me?
But I told you the Rams were going to win the game.
That's cool, but I took in betting the land of betting, no matter who wins, but who's gonna cover. So shout out to Cincinnati.
That's fact, because the Bengals did cover 4 plus.
Did me good, baby.
Well, listen, you know, I told you
Even if they
that
lost,
the picks that
still
I do
win.
are just outright picks.
What up, y'all?
They don't include the line. You got to make that decision on your own.
What's your picks for tonight, man? I ain't
Who's
gonna front.
playing? Who's
The
playing?
bookie got his foot in my ass right now. I need some help.
Oh, I told you to play with me, bro. Play with me. I give you a discount.
I don't know, you're not.
What you doing, Mo? The college shit?
Everything, anything and everything. You could have bet on the.
All right, give me a 3-team parlay, nigga. I need a 3-team parlay.
I sent you an account. Go on the account. Use the account.
Man, which fucking phone? Like the 7 phones you threw away?
Nobody got time.
I'm gonna get it for you. I'm gonna get it for you. I gotta remember my account.
Yeah, nigga, I need a 3-team parlay.
He said I need a 3-team parlay. Sonny Pack's over here hiding his password to his FanDuel account.
Look at him. Look at him.
Don't worry about my FanDuel account.
Don't worry about sweetheart.
Tell him. Don't worry about it, sweetheart.
All right, we're gonna open
Don't
up.
worry about my FanDuel, man.
Yeah. All right.
Nah, I
let's
ain't
check.
fucking with FanDuel. I gotta delete that app, man. That shit'll make you fuck your life up, man. Don't fucking. I don't advise nobody to fucking download that FanDuel app. I downloaded that shit for one day. I lost 300.
I had a parlay yesterday. For $1,200. And then before I knew it, I was playing 3-card poker, and I was down to
You see what I'm trying to say?
$87.
You see what I'm trying to say?
All right, this is nice.
Yo.
Yeah, man, FanDuel will rob you, son.
Check this out. I don't know if you see that. You see that?
That shit look good, boy.
How's that look with that? That's the Lolo from Turtle
That looks
Pie.
sabroso.
That's recreational flower from California. That
Let me
was
see that.
gifted to
Let me
us.
see. Oh shit! This is
Jay, our guy Jay has entered the building, and our dog is just doing her job, security.
one thing about us over here. We smoke
Yo, son,
genetics, not
that shit looks
generic.
fire, nigga.
Let me get that lighter.
these niggas is smoking generic. I smoke genetics. I don't smoke. Know what I'm saying? That generic gelato.
Nah, but that shit smokes good, son.
This shit right here is pretty. Roll this shit up, man.
So don't talk to me like that.
Roll that shit up, Mo.
So don't talk to me like that.
Roll up the genetics.
Break it up. I'll roll it.
Now, matter of fact, Lena, as soon as I said that, Lena looked at me like, nigga, you crushed that weed, nigga.
Nah, look at this. This
I smoked that other one.
fresh. Look at that. Smoke the other jar.
Oh, we can smoke this?
She knew it. Yeah, we're gonna smoke this.
I smoked it alone on my couch.
Who that? Come by looking on suspect.
Trying to get JG Baby in the building. He out in Tampa.
Gotta move over.
Here's our guy.
Oh yeah, the guy, yo, them edibles be fucking me up, man. Yo, no
He
lie.
just realized you're the guy that makes the
My
edibles.
son is
Them
on.
Gummies, first of all, fucked over my New Year's Eve, man. I ate them shits. I swear to God, I was in the car. Listen, let me tell you something. I was in the car, right? It's New Year's Eve. It's like 9 o'clock. My phone is ringing 100 miles an hour. The phone is sitting right here. I'm like, another 20 minutes, I'm making to my phone. I'm sitting there, sat in the
You
car
want to get
for
on
like
camera or
2
you want to
hours.
stay off camera? All right, you want the headphones so you can hear the call?
I sat in the car for 2 hours.
Yeah, we got some questions.
You can
questions.
put that on. He's on there.
Now it's like 11 o'clock. I get to my girl crib. I'm sitting on the couch. It looked like I was on
Can you hear us,
drugs. I missed everything for New Year's Eve, bro. Everything. The ball drop, the celebration.
Yo, you like my back?
kisses,
Yo, Mo, you like my
everything.
background, son? With the lights?
It was
Feeling
over.
it. I like it.
I should look fire.
Nah, it looks good.
My girl and her family was looking at me like I was on real
I
drugs.
realized there was a filter.
Word, they thought I was like, I fuck with them shits. Them shits be having. Those are the only edibles really that
I should
really
look fly.
fuck me over. Word.
This
Yeah,
is
you trying to go?
448
You gotta eat the whole
Cannabis Talk.
jar. You get the whole jar. Oh,
We're live from the Penthouse Cafe. Joining us live tonight in-house is
Enjoyable
from Enjoyables,
This one?
California, the yellow one.
Damn, I've been dying for y'all to press that.
So Jay's in the building today. You know, hopefully we can get a little touch. Jay's got a lot of experience in the cannabis industry, and recreational market, and a lot of things like that. First off, Jay, thanks for joining us. I know you flew in this morning. You landed about 6 a.m. just to come and be on part of this podcast. Is that right?
Yeah,
How was the
thanks for
flight?
having me.
How was the flight?
Yeah, easy.
Shit, man. Sometimes that flight to Cali, from Cali to New York, be annoying. Like, is this shit ever gonna be over?
Can you help
Word.
Imagine you get delays, bro.
Nah, man.
Do you hear the call?
Anubis, say something.
Anubis, can you talk?
Yo, you can hear me?
Yeah.
All right, back here.
What's up?
Okay, hey, all right, cool. That's King Anubis. He's on the line.
We got enjoyable edibles in the building.
We got enjoyable edibles in the building.
Oh, he back? He back from lunch break?
Talk to us
I'm back.
a little bit about how you got started in the cannabis industry and around how long ago was it?
Sure. I was doing real estate in 2010 and had some people asking for power on the buildings, the specs, amps and the panels,
Right.
and just started, putting two to two together what they're doing. They're cultivating. At the time, cannabis was relatively new, like as indoor, like it was around early 2000s. But at this time, good OG was about $5,500 a pound,
Wow.
and
In Cali.
in Cali,
Can you tell everybody watching where you're from exactly in Cali or what
Sure,
area
sure.
you're from?
yeah, Orange County area. So
That's south of LA.
yeah, South LA, and there's already a big cannabis
I
culture.
start moving. No, it's Addy.
Already a big cannabis culture. They're always kind of late. I came into an accident, like I said.
Right.
I found people looking for buildings, and I was like, "Yo, what am I doing? I'm making shit
wrong
money."
fucking-
Yeah, and I see how much money they're making, and I'm just like, I'm growing weed.
Out of here.
You know how it started.
Yeah.
This real estate shit.
Yeah. I put on a stupid little suit and
That's
shit.
crazy.
Stupid. Yeah.
So you're like, all right, fuck it, I want to get into the weed business. And how do you get yourself into the weed business from real estate?
So the guy that was my client, he had another grow, and he said, "Hey, come work for me." And I said, "I'm not going to work for you. I'll work with you, and
Right.
in 6 months we'll both make more money." He said, "Ha," and here we are. Yeah,
Here we are.
Here we are.
And how long ago was that?
This is about 10 years ago.
About 10 years. So you're in the game 10 years now.
Yeah.
You're relatively young. You
Yeah.
look like you're young. You're in early 30s.
Yeah, around there.
All right. Late 20s?
No, 30, late 30s.
All right.
Yeah.
Late 30s.
Still young, that's young, man.
All right. Listen, I'm 39. There's no shame in the game. I'm sexy, leaning, fucking ready to go.
This is radio, right? So yeah, me too.
That's awesome, man. So you get into the cannabis game. This guy's like, "Yo, come work for me." And what is it that you start doing?
He had me like scrubbing walls and trimming and like all like this the manual labor shit because he didn't think that I was gonna like last. Yeah.
If you're coming in from real estate, like, this fucking guy sell houses. Talking shit.
Exactly. I just tried my hardest to accumulate as much knowledge as I could. I read, I studied, I worked. I worked in the grow. I did all the remedial tasks, and at night, I caught a lot of heat from other people in the grow. They didn't really like me, and they're just like, who's this guy?
Because you're coming in here doing too much.
Yeah, and I really, tried as hard as I could, and I was flipping the packs like to dispensaries at night to get the contacts.
Oh.
So the manager that ran the grow for him was like, "Oh, you can't take the weed," and I was like, "Hey, dude, like, why not?" So then it turned into you can't take it till you could only take what you trim. So then I learned, okay, I'm not going to drink water, so I could trim 3 pounds a day, and I would just laser focus so I could get. Because to me, it was about trim. It was about if I had 3 pounds of fire weed, that
Yo, Mo, I guess that shit is fire.
To the dispensary.
3 different dispensaries and make 3 different contacts.
Yeah.
So that was my ticket in. So I'd only give them one. So I'd make 150, 200 trimming a pound.
Mm-hmm.
And at night after 5 o'clock, I'd hit the dispensaries, get home at 10, wake up at 6, do it all over again. So over a couple years, I started to put it together like how they were ran. They were ran as more like conglomerates rather than independent operators. And what I found is that there's multiple people. There's people behind the scenes. So I thought of them as just one dispensary because I knew nothing about it. I was just going.
All connected.
So once I figured out that they had the same verbiage, I was like, oh shit, they're being trained by somebody. That means there's someone behind it. That means there's more. So it took me a long time to figure out because I didn't know anybody. So I had to just put it all together myself. And eventually, over years, I just climbed, this guy, and figured out more and more about how it was all ran. And it was an amazing system because it's integrated in a self-contained network in California. And once you get to that level of the top dispensary guys, it's really not much risk because you're an insulated environment with guards and after a few years I was moving weed in armored cars just bring 100 of those.
Because now clientele changes now. I'm just fucking with them. I can't fuck with you. Matter of fact, I got somebody for you.
I'm on that next level of this guy will take these, and if I'm proximal to all the growers, which I was able to put it all together and be like, oh, I could take all these, and I was at times when we hit a surplus in California when the price of weed tanked. That's when it got even better for me because I accumulated so many contacts. I was able to move not just our grow, but all of the weeds from all of our friends' grows. And then we figured out how to vertical the production to the storefronts where we didn't buy from vendors. We figured out how to make the oil, make the edibles, cultivate weed.
You start manufacturing in house.
Everything, yeah.
Definitely costs
Way more run now.
It's definitely risky, but it works out, which.
But it's not risky because, like you said, after a while, the risk minimizes because you're not even dealing with certain people. You're just dealing with these couple of groups of people. So
to where you don't touch it.
Yeah.
It came to the point to where it was just,
I was just
text. It's just my thumbs, You just do that.
But you still had to grind and put your work in and build these relationships.
Yo, Mo.
These relationships.
10 years, man.
Yeah. Yo, ask him what's the biggest order he got his career so far.
So, in terms of units of flour, the question is, what's the largest order you've ever placed or have served anybody in terms of how
I got a wise piece of advice from somebody that was actually he tutored me on the dispensary game, and he told me every time they say 100, something always goes wrong. And I thought about that, and to be honest, I've never ever sold more than 100 pounds of weed at one time, and just because I took what he said, as little advice.
Right.
So I've always,
That's some real shit,
Bro,
son.
you just
That's some
knocked
real
something in
shit.
my brain now. And like,
yeah, I was told that that's a red flag.
I ain't fucking
And,
with that. No, what?
So I'm definitely not claiming that I did it the biggest. Like I said, I was relatively late to the game. There was people before me that really consolidated, but I was lucky enough to see it, and I treated it like a subculture, like the same way that anything else. I was just interested by it, and to me, it felt very special to be a part of. That somebody could trust me and say, "Well, here's $100,000 in weed," and nothing else, bonding you to them other than your reputation. And to me, having a 9-to-5 grind when I was miserable, I couldn't live with it. And finding something where I felt I simultaneously helped others, improved people's well-being, and made a lot of money and improved my family's life and mine, like it was a win-win-win. So I never felt bad about any of it. I felt like I was doing the right thing. I didn't feel the same sense of accomplishment through selling real estate, insurance, or doing anything else in my life. And I seen this plant heal people. And so not only was I having an awesome time, I was entertained and I felt good about what I was doing. So it was very special.
You were helping people at the same time.
It was so cool, yeah.
So you feel like in your journey in the marijuana business, like you said, when you was working at the with the other guy, these the other people,
That's better.
they was hating on you. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't really trying to be too receptive to you because you was trying to learn. So
Yo, save me
you
a
feel
nut,
like that
son.
stagnated your process.
No, it just, to be honest, it just made me think like, oh, I'll show you.
So you use that as a motivation.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes like you being in the marijuana business, it's probably just like it's the same shit goes on out here. Like you'll be a new person, and you try to get information, and people are just don't tell you nothing or find out on your own when they really could save you. You understand what I'm trying to say? The hassle and headaches and that wasting thousands of dollars just by giving you a little information. You know what I'm trying to say?
People don't want to see you grow.
That's
Because if they're not growing, why would they know that? You know what I'm saying? Because some people might know that knowledge, but still stuck in a place where you gather that knowledge, you're gone.
You ever felt that? You ever felt in the 10 years that you worked in this industry? You ever felt like you came across somebody who could help you, but just wasn't willing to share what he knew with you?
Oh, I don't think many people help me at all, to be honest. I'm fortunate enough to have collected the people that helped me through the years to where now my group is small and tight, but it's like, it's who I learned, okay, this guy's solid, this person's solid. And I didn't expect anyone to help me because it's a dangerous world. And I wasn't naive about it. I knew what I was doing. I knew, okay, this is dangerous. Right. And it
only got knowledge.
That's what it appealed. What appealed to me about it is that I got to experience so many parts of culture. Like I could be in WAFs in a dispensary with people I would never interact with, and then I could be in Orange County with completely different people. And what I found was that marijuana was ubiquitous. It appealed to every culture, every color, every creed. The smile on someone's face is always the same when you hand them weed. And it was a way for me to understand it and connect with people on a much deeper level. So after a while, like it wasn't just making money. Like I built a brand and I built a reputation, and I had a lot of fun doing it. And I made a lot of cool friends, but I never was naive enough to think that I was, I don't flaunt anything. I don't act ridiculous, because to me it was like I never wanted to get caught slipping. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, how does a company?
We call it lacking out here.
Yeah, no lacking here.
Hell, no lacking.
Yeah.
How does a company get nationwide recognition? Because enjoyable edibles can be found pretty much anywhere because of the CBD culture that you're in. How did you get from selling packs of flour to now? Let me just start making brownies and bombs and tinctures and stuff like that.
Well, I can't take credit for founding it. What it was that I was interested in cannabis. The dude who put me on, his wife, at this time there was no concentrates back then. So the only thing to do with trim was either throw it away or make butter and turn it into edibles. It was literally trash. So, like in the city, like when you have a grow, say we had a 100 light grow and then a 240 light grow. The 240 light grow occupied quite a bit of square footage. So the trash it produces, it can't just be thrown in dumpsters outside. You have to trailer it out to the dump. So I was like, yo, what are we doing with all this waste? I wanted to turn the hemp into clothing. We looked into this process called the decortilator. So I was just looking at it like with a fresh set of eyes, like a literal sort of, what do you do with this? And edible came out of a necessity to get rid of the trim. Over time, I became more interested in that than I did the grow, because at this time, the price of weed went up and down. You could get PM, you get spider mites, all kinds of shit, and ruin your room. By the time you pay all the bills, the overhead, sometimes it's not even worth it if you're getting 16 or 17 in Cali.
Right.
So you're like, fuck this.
And you know what? That's a great thing that you said right there, because a lot of people have asked me over the time that I've been in this industry, well, why don't you have your own grow? Why don't you grow? Why don't you set up a grow here? Are you going to open your own grow? Are you going to get no.
It's a lot of work.
It takes a lot of money, bro.
It's a lot of work, but I'm a salesman.
It takes a lot of money, hard work.
I don't want to take away from what I already know, what I'm good at.
But you what he said though?
Something.
It don't even make no sense.
It don't make no sense.
If you're getting 16, 17, so that makes sense why these other companies mass produce 20, 200,000, 200 likes, 100 likes. You know what I'm saying? 250.
Yeah, listen.
It ain't going to make more sense to them.
This was before recreational mass production. The biggest grow that I knew of at the time was supposed. I never even seen it. Was 400 lights. That was legendary, because the amount.
What was typical at your time? Regular
100 lights
100 lights?
was big because you're talking about average 3 to 4K cost to build out. So you're looking at spending 400 or 500K in something that can potentially get ripped out the next day.
Yeah.
So
that's true. So you're taking a gamble.
Shit was getting raided.
That time,
Police is taking everything.
Facts.
So if you was doing that, you really was dedicated to the culture to even take your
My nigga,
money
you
and
better
risk
off
that.
you better off going to the casino, my nigga. If that's the case.
Well,
Yeah.
that's dedication to be
I
like.
see way more people not make it than make it, to be honest. And I've seen so many people come and go, and there's a lot of risk in putting that kind of money into something. And then if you don't, you could be one bad harvest away from going bankrupt, because the bills don't stop. The electricity is electricity, the AC, the nutrients.
You gotta get paid.
Yeah, it's all gotta get paid. And then if you can't skip a beat on a harvest. You gotta hit that 2.5 to life. You gotta make sure it comes out fire, or else you can get paid. And if you're in the most competitive environment in Southern California with the indoor cannabis game, it's like, if your weed is not AAA, it's like, well, then you're not gonna get paid.
Right.
But out here, people out here,
Niggas don't know about that AAA, bro.
A work is AAA out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, like y'all A work is AAA. And people gonna swear to God.
If that it's only that AAA, it's all about that AAA, bro. If it ain't that AAA smoke, bro.
So you've changed your focus from flower.
Go back to the minor league.
Trim, making oil. How do you get into the actual edibles?
It wasn't that I changed my focus. Keep in mind that there wasn't cannabis brands back then weren't branded all around. They didn't like now. The reason that the recreational brands are doing flower, concentrates, edibles, because the cost of operating in the California legal market is so high that they have to do everything. They can't be a one. They can't just be one brand. And traditional 215 brands predominantly stayed within one lane. Yeah, they were like, okay, we do this. Yeah, I did everything else, but the way that I branded it was just through edibles, because the thought that I had back then was, the doctor's never going to tell you to smoke it. He's going to tell you to eat it. So I was thinking, Enjoyable, the brand was always in the back pocket behind the dispensaries, the wholesale. It was just there because I knew that was my exit strategy. I knew that they were going to take everything, and sure enough, I didn't. Nothing is left. So I knew the brand would be long term, and I knew that more people would consume cannabis in the future. And I knew that with a name like Enjoyable, I have the copyright under the hemp law, and I own the type Enjoyable. So it's like having the happy birthday song. Yeah. So I was like, all I gotta do is sell weed, make edible company, call it Enjoyable, get it everywhere, and then it'll be like a Nabisco or something.
And you got the contacts already for.
Yeah, so the selling the weed and hustling and making all the contacts, to me, that was just training. It was training for the long term. So,
yo, Mo, I got a question, Mo, for him.
He can hear you.
You can hear me? Yo, bro, so what was like your first big order in the edibles that made you realize, like, yo, I gotta, this is what I want to do now. Like, what made you realize, like,
Okay, yeah, I can answer that. So there's this group of guys that had a bunch of trap shops, and they weren't really nice to me. They were kind of just like, shut the fuck up, you work for me, be grateful, we give you money. They were really, really condescending. So I think they had given me like a $10,000 order, and I think I made like probably $5,000. And to me at that time, I was like, oh my god, I just made $5,000. Holy shit! And this, and then it became every week, and then I realized, oh shit, I could just sell more and more of this shit, and
nigga, that's 20 bands a month, nigga.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, and then it, but that's not really what hit me. What it really hit me was I was passing out samples in San Diego to dispensaries, and this older white lady, I walked out of the dispensary and I just handed it to her, like, here you go, enjoy Bloodibles, follow us on Instagram or something. And she said, hey, and I turned around and this lady ran to me, and keep in mind, this is like a mid-50s, like, just older lady, and she hugs me, and I was like, she's like, oh my God, your edibles got me off of Vicodin. And I looked at her, and that's when it clicked. I was like, oh shit, like, this is what I'm supposed to do. Like, I'm supposed to sell weed.
Them edibles is different. You don't just have me like, yo, you should.
Thanks to the old lady.
Yeah,
Thanks to the old lady.
That's what really happened, and it clicked. I'm like, this shit helps people. Like, I should do this. Like, and it felt good. Like, it just felt cool. Like,
yeah, and that's great because it's not one of those. Oh, I made fucking 50,000 on an order, and I was like, yep, this is what I'm gonna do. First order is $5K, not really all that crazy, but someone tells you like, yo, you changed my life. I'm no longer addicted to
yeah.
Especially after
it's a big difference. It's a world of a difference, especially for that person who is no longer addicted to those painkillers. Maybe they're now addicted to your edible, but your edible is not gonna hurt them. Your edible is gonna make them feel good and relax, maybe even release some endorphins and help the body. You know what I mean? So I'm sure you can touch on that, right? Because if you're talking about that, one of the reasons why you love doing this is because you help people, then I'm sure you can answer what are some of the health benefits that, having products or some of the products that you have can help people, and what are they specifically made for? Because I know you're a type of guy that really likes to attack things and really have the true formula for what they're doing and what you're doing. And so could you touch a little bit about that and what is
sure.
What is that?
Well, that's to me a very deep subject, because that's what originally inspired me to go into cannabis, was because as I was, sort of like throwing around the idea of doing cannabis, I was also researching it. And when I kind of researched, if I didn't feel that there was compelling data to go down that road, I wouldn't have done it just for the money. I did it because I was like, okay, cool, this is promising. So something that sticks out as an experience is that when I first started working in the grow, maybe about a couple months in, one of the trimmers had a friend that had autistic twins. And their autism was so severe that they had to wear helmets because they would hit their head on the wall. And they were, I believe, 5 or 6, around there. And the parent, there was a single mom, and I believe she couldn't afford to care for them. So they were in a state funded school, some type of school for special needs children.
Right.
At this time, we had made the guy that I worked with, he had done ethanol wash with trim and made RSO, which for you guys who don't know, it's Rick Simpson oil. All it is it's crude. It's basically 1 step more distant. It's just it's not even 90% like THC like this. It's like 50%. But what it is it has all the other cannabinoids in it. So it's a very unpleasant high. It gives you a headache. It's really intense. Long story short, we gave this crude or RSO to this lady. She gave it to her children, and their seizures declined dramatically, like in the 90 percentile. The mom got a call from the school, and they said, hey, what are you doing? Because they're using iPads, they're talking, they're not hitting their heads. It dramatically changed these kids' lives. And for me, that was the one of the, oh shit, this is what I'm going to do. And when I eventually started handling all the manufacturing for Enjoyable and scaling it up, we used a RSO oil in the edibles. And we got so many emails, everything, like crazy amounts of people that it helps so many things. So I can't really narrow down on one story. I can just kind of give you the broad understanding and then sort of what it evolved to. So through the years of doing that, I'm on now, my latest sort of interest is actually cannabis suppositories, because when you eat cannabis, it's only about 20% bioavailable. So you don't absorb it. When you eat it, you're not getting all of it.
Right.
People who are extremely sick or things like that, they get less because their metabolism, a lot of times their gut lining, all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
And what we found is that with suppositories, it circumvents the digestive tract, so your body metabolizes it way more effectively, and there's no psychoactivity. So people who say never use cannabis, they can't, if they go on the Rick Simpson protocol and take a full spectrum oil, a gram a day or 2 grams a day, it's intolerable for them to be that high. They can't do it. It's actually, they're delirious. So by using the suppositories, it goes from about 20% bioavailability to about 90. So it's almost as good as doing it intravenously. So the amount of medicine they can absorb, I've seen it do some pretty miraculous things, and it's my latest interest. So it evolved for me from giving it to people and now finding a way more effective delivery mechanism. The only sort of problem I'm facing right now is that you're not actually allowed to call it a suppository of cannabis. It's because anytime something is in your nose or rectally or intravenously, it's a medical device. So we're not legally allowed to call it a cannabis suppository, so we call it a multi-delivery capsule. And the challenge is, hey, I know this thing helps people, but how do I get around these laws? And these laws are in place to keep the pharmaceutical companies in power, and that's really what it's about. So the whole evolution evolved for me for something to where it's now kind of a dead end in a way. So that's.
So how do you market that, being that you can't use the one word that really everybody relates to in terms of that product?
Well, we could dance around subjects, but pretty much you can't make health claims, and which I understand, but at the same time, I've seen this with my own eyes, so I don't know. That's the roadblock I'm at. If you ask me where this journey has led, it's led me to, knowing that there's innumerable people out there that are suffering in every which way, and that there's something that can heal them. So I think of cannabis as this miraculous plant that we co-evolved with, because we have an endocannabinoid system in our body. And what that means is that we actually evolved with the cannabis plant, not hundreds of thousands of years back through our lineage. And that means we're literally hardwired to take in this plant and interact with it. And it's much deeper than someone telling you, no, you can or can't do that. Or you can't say that. It's silly that, that the last, 100 years of medical knowledge has superseded thousands of years of evolution. So to me, the silly, what verbiage I can and can't use, it's frustrating.
It's right. It's frustrating and very, very hard at times, because you're trying to help people and they're not letting you help people, which is something we've spoken about before in the past. And a lot of my viewers know that as well as you, because my mom has osteoporosis. And so I'm often asking you to, hey, can you please do me a favor and send me something that's going to help her. She uses it every day, every day. And so for me, it's been amazing to have her be able to feel better and be on less prescription medicine, sleeping pills and anxiety pills and all these types of different prescription pills that she was taking prior to me introducing her to a CBD, CBD THC regimen of tinctures and suppositories.
That's so many people. It's so many people, and when you think about, that's everybody's mom, that's everybody's aunt, that's everybody's grandma. You go to the doctor and they're poisoning our loved ones.
That's good. Yeah.
Metal is a toxin and sometimes medication, but temporary relief.
Yeah. I'm not saying that modern allopathic medicine isn't efficacious. It does have its uses, but you can't just throw Zoloft and fucking SSRIs at every problem, you know?
Right.
Or oxycodone or any other, you know, addictive substance that ruins people's lives when cannabis is a extremely viable substitute.
Right. I know me myself, I go through a lot of physical aches and pains each day. I have torn ligaments, dislocated bones in my body, surgeries. And of course, as you know, you were in the physical sport industry for a long time. It takes a toll on your body, and cannabis is the one thing that I can lead to each and every day that I can just really can really count on cannabis and make my body feel better. And so and because I'm in such a work environment, so many things going on, such as this dog on our show today. It sometimes allows me to slow down and really take care of each and everything one by one. You know, I use those bombs a lot too, my knee, my shoulder, and they really do help. You know, they really do help, and there's a reason why it helps. And, you know, I don't go to a doctor. I feel like I'm one of those people that don't go to a doctor often because cannabis helps me with so much of what I'm dealing with each and every day. Got a stomach problem? Smoke some weed. Your head hurts? Smoke some weed. You know, you got your foot hurts? Smoke some weed. That's just basically my go-to. Now that doesn't work for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, and it doesn't take away 100% of everything that I got going on. But I do feel like it helps and it does. And I'm sure that there's other alternative cannabis options out there that I'm not exploring just by smoking it in a cigar leaf, which is not the best alternative. You know, as you mentioned, you know, the intake on this is real low.
It's just different.
But it works for me. You know, it works for me on a day-to-day basis, which is not, I got to take this, I got to eat that, I got to do this. I'm just too busy and I don't have that routine type lifestyle. You know, the only thing that's routine about me is that I smoke Dutches and I smoke coffee. That's something basically you're always on the go. It's tough for you to remember to take something every single day at a certain time, you know, each time.
It's never works.
Unless you set your alarm clock.
Unless you're gonna be like one of the old ladies who got the, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel like, you know, I don't know that person. And I feel like cannabis helps me, you know, and I feel like if there's something else out there that cannabis is involved in that's non-addictive, that provides other alternative health benefits, not just helps me with what it is that I'm looking for. And it's got to be out there, you know, and you have products like that, don't you?
Yeah, I definitely try to think that way, you know, like, hey, what does this do for somebody? Hey, like, what's the best way to take this? Or what's, you know, to me, like, the whole argument of, oh, this is recreational medical, I don't really see it that way. I think that this person who smokes a joint to calm himself down has just as much right to do that than the person who has glaucoma. Because who's to say that physical pain isn't any different than mental pain? If someone can smoke weed and their life is a little better, well then who the fuck are you to tell them they can't? You know, like, that's what I realized through it. And I came from someone who didn't smoke. Like, I tried it when I was younger, didn't really care for it because I was really of the idea that, oh, it's losers. Or you can't do that. Winners don't do that. And I really kind of subscribed to that disinformation. And when I got, a little more mature, I started to think about it, and I was like, wait a minute, this doesn't seem like, how the fuck is this shit so bad? Why is it showing promise with curing cancer? Why, when I had an uncle that died of cancer, and in his last days, he smoked cannabis to eat because he couldn't eat from chemotherapy. And I was a kid watching him die.
Yeah.
And, I started to kind of put two and two together, and I was like, nah, this is not right. Like something. So I became, dare I say, like an advocate about it, where I was just like, nah, this is wrong. They're taking this from us. And I felt compelled to like give back or try to think like, how do I do this? And yeah, everyone that sells weed maybe might say that, but I thought, what are these problems that I could solve? Making tinctures. We started cultivating CBD indoor when it wasn't like it was just available in cuts. Like we got the cuts from Colorado, ACDC and Charlottesville, and we scratched a tray in our grow and grew indoor CBD. And I remember it was such an ugly little feeble plant that we thought like this is a way, this could be looked at as a waste of money because it's not there was nothing to do with it back then. But we turned it into to oil, and now we had a CBD oil. This was before you could buy the minors and isolate. There was no such thing as isolated CBD, or like this was before that. Like, so we were growing that shit before turning it into oil and figuring out how to give it to people. And now, like, to be honest, like I feel like that how sophisticated the market is, I don't need to do that anymore. There's plenty of smart people in cannabis now that can do it. My latest interest is psilocybin. So I'm now, we're extracting psilocybin and putting in gummies, and I'm precisely.
What exactly is that?
Psilocybin is the psychoactive component in mushrooms. And what it has,
Trippy man.
The therapeutic potential of psilocybin is, to me, a lot more exciting than cannabis. It heals brain injuries. People that through a process called neurogenesis, which is the regrowth of brain cells. It helps people that have, like, say if one part of the brain is damaged, it helps with plasticity, another part to relearn that motor reflex. So somebody that has, say in a car accident can learn how to walk, and it's not been proven, but it's been demonstrated in fMRIs where they can see how psilocybin helps people in their neural function. So it's nothing but a good thing. It's the same thing as cannabis. This is something that humans have interacted with for thousands of years. Somebody 100 years ago said this is wrong, and everyone's like, oh yeah, that's wrong. And it's nonsense. So to me, I have that same excitement where I'm like, ooh, psilocybin. Like I said, cannabis to me, my skill set has been maxed out. There's way more people that are accelerating the research, but 10 years ago they weren't. So that's kind of my interest. Not that I'm not interested in cannabis. It's just
Everything they said, eat bad from the mushroom pad, we kind of find out it's cured the hell.
What about people? What about people that have allergies to fungi or to mushrooms?
That's a very good question. To be honest, I don't know, because we're actually extracting down the psilocybin with what's called analog tryptamines. So psilocybin is one molecular step away from the dimethyltryptamine, which is DMT. Psilocybin has a bunch of cousins called tryptamines, and these are all psychoactive components that are like brain food and do all these things that we don't even know about. And the therapeutic potential of the analog tryptamine is immense. So not only am I interested in psilocybin, I'm interested in the extract we're making. We have everything in place from the cannabis extraction, the knowledge, the facilities. So we're like, cool, this is the next thing. We extracted it. We figured out how to get it down to an extract that's a powder form, and it's amazing. And then that's the only way we could actually get the gummies to be precisely 1 milligram. Because when you grind up mushrooms, the psilocybin content is anywhere from 0.02% to 2%. So it's too wide of a variation to microdose. So you need to turn it into an extract and then homogenize it to get a precise dose.
Sounds like a lot of science, a lot of numbers go into this. So this is a lot of work. So you go from I'm showing people apartments and trying to sell houses, to scrubbing floors in a grow, to trimming weed, to then realizing that people are throwing away potentially millions of dollars. They're leading from this industry, such as psilocybin and whatnot, and tremendous strides in helping. How does someone like you stay so far under the radar and so unrecognized by medical science and things like that? I know it's unproven stuff, but there's got to be a way for you to put it in their face and be like, what's going on?
Well, I accumulated my skill set through reading. So this isn't me discovering anything. This is just me having an iPhone in my pocket and just reading and like, hey, what about this? What about that? And it's really accessible to anybody. I just had the interest. I had the hunger, and I found that over time it became more of an obligation where I was like, okay, what am I really doing with my life? I'm like, I'm helping people, and I you kind of feed whatever beast you want to grow. And I thought to myself, well, I want to keep making shit that helps other people, and maybe, I could benefit from that. And that's really where the interest came from. I just like doing things when someone says, hey, I had the best time of my life. You know how many times I've connected with someone like that, and I see the joy in them, and I think, man, I'm doing that shit on a massive. I'm producing happiness on a commercial level.
You start to feel good. You don't feel too bad about it.
Behind the
I know you
scenes,
get good money doing that real estate. I know when you told your family, like, hey, man, I'm gonna stop doing this to do this. They like,
Oh, I was shunned for years, yeah.
it's like the Elon Musk of fucking cannabis.
way ahead of your time. And you're about to be ahead of your time right now with the extraction of the that's gonna be crazy.
So you're at a point now where edible enjoyables is about to go national, right? This is what we're hearing in the market.
Yeah.
That you're taking your brand, you're about to go. Is there something you could talk? Is there something you could talk about?
Sort of.
So can you tell us a little bit about where is the next step for enjoyables and what direction you're walking in and what's going on?
I've always been sort of the ideal that you don't put your hands up and celebrate before the fight's over. And I want to be humble and respectful. But I've been fortunate enough to, kind of practice what I preach and have good relationships. And I asked a friend of mine that has some distribution in 50 states and other parts of the world, hey, would you distribute my brand? And he said, sure.
That easy.
Good friends, man.
And I said, okay, well, I'll do the same thing for you on the licensed California side. And he said, sure. So pretty much I'm helping him, he helps me. And I'm just trying to make a cannabis brand that helps more people, because the way that I originally came into it was it's kind of a silly thought. It's kind of embarrassing to say out loud, but I thought to myself, what could Coca-Cola do? What could Walmart do? These countries have the GDP of these companies have the GDP of countries. They make billions of dollars. They don't need to fucking help anyone. They don't. There's people that get bombed and live in a fucking shack. You know what I mean? People don't have food. There's people that don't have water. There's people that have cataracts in their eyes that a simple surgery could fix. And I thought to myself, if a company like Red Bull or Coca-Cola can go around the world making billions selling sugar water, why can't a cannabis company do that? And to me, like, I don't want to sell out. I don't give a fuck about your money or your offer. Like, Enjoyable has always been a way for me to help others. And if I could expand that across everywhere and take care of myself, and Enjoyable could be a mechanism of service, well, what a wonderful way to die, Like what a wonderful way to hang it up and say what I did,
But what an honest way to stay true, you feel me? For some people to sell out and just go for that. But he just stay here and be like, yo, you know what I'm saying? So
I would always want to have some type of creative direction in Enjoyable, where like if someone, when you make something, if it could get bigger than you, and you could lose yourself in it. And it's been very important to me to always kind of remember the mission, and be like, hey, like, I think of the people that it helped, and I think, okay, well, you're just doing that, and you're just extrapolating it up on a bigger level. And there is some games you have to play in terms of business and things like that. But if I can manage to get it out and have that type of, brand recognition and power, then you would say, okay, well, how about you allocate a percentage of sales to this disenfranchised people or that's sort of the long-term goal for me, is that after you have enough, you really don't need any more. And you could go to your deathbed being a miserable, sick prick, or you could go and say, well, I did a whole lot, and you could look back and be proud of yourself. And that's kind of my vision.
So you're definitely
I'm thinking to the end.
You're definitely making an impact. I'll tell you that. A lot of people come here and they really, really, really do enjoy the edibles, the talking tacos, the blackout brownie, the 1,000 milligrams. People really enjoy that. And I know that's not something that's.
Now I'm scared to eat that right now. I didn't know it was the same company. Joe was trying to bet me $200 on eat that. So I said, I eat that shit. I'm really fucking it up. I got a hot tolerance. But then when I eat the gummies, I'm so well now. This shit's I always eat edibles and they don't even put the food on. So I eat that shit. I was like, nah, this shit is it.
Can you handle 1,000? Have you ever taken 1,000 milligrams?
Not
You can't hit the 500. How's it gonna hit?
No, it's a lot. So 1,000 milligrams is 1 gram approximately of 100% oil. So typically distillate is about 90%. So 1 gram of distillate by volume is 900 milligrams. So 1,000. So when someone has to take RSO for cancer, remember it's only like 50% THC delta 9. So their 1 gram is only 500 milligrams, and it makes them loopy and crazy. They can't handle it. So imagine someone with cancer. They need to take like 2 or 3 grams a day. So imagine doing 3 blackouts a day. That's what somebody has to take that has cancer, because again, only 20% absorb. So they eat 1,500 milligrams. They only absorb, what is that, 300 milligrams or something like that?
Triple up on the
What about the sugar intake on that, right? Because now we're eating brownies, we're eating cookies, we're eating Rice Krispie treats.
So typically, they're the people that's where the necessity from RSO, Rick Simpson on syringes came from. And there's some people who prefer to just eat the 1 brownie compared to eating just because it's like a tar substance.
Yeah.
It's really intolerable. It'll stick on your teeth.
Yeah.
So a lot of times they'll eat it with bread. And some people just can't scarf down that much. And to them, like, you got to put yourself in the shoes of someone who's dying. Like, imagine you're dying and you're like, okay, well, I got to scarf this shit down. And not only am I dying, I'm deliriously high all day. Like, it's hard, you know, and people have to start with a half grain of rice of oil and double that dose every other day and work their way up to taking 1 gram a day. They can't just start the protocol. So that gives you an idea. His tolerance, he's at half the protocol of RSO of oil for someone that has a severe issue. So that's why I had to push the bar and think, what other ways can I do this? And there's really kind of 2 other ways. There's rectally and intravenous. And intravenous cannabinoid injections is pretty far-fetched. It's a lot easier to just give someone a suppository and tell them, look, if you're a girl, if you go 2 ways. If you're a guy, there's 1 way, get over it.
Yeah.
And you know, if it's gonna save your life, fucking get over it.
I don't think that guy would be able to do something for me. I smoke.
This is real deal. This is like
We're
not
talking about life
homemade
changing, right? We're talking about saving your life, right? Now, I'm gonna tell you something. I watched my dad die right from cancer, pancreatic cancer. It's one of the toughest cancers to recover from. It's very tough. I watched my cousin at 37 years old, 36 years old, die of cancer. You know, cancer runs in my mom's family. My mom had breast cancer twice. You know, thankfully, thank God she's beaten it both times, you know. Her mom died of cancer when she was 8 years old. Her 2 sisters died of cancer. Her 2 brothers died of cancer. And who knows how many other relatives of her have died throughout this whole time. And now, you know, there's a thing called Lynch syndrome, right? Lynch syndrome is a gene it's a genetic gene that you're born with. It guarantees you're getting one of several types, if not multiple types of cancer. So you start screening at an early age of 7 to 8 years old, 10 years old. Normally, you're going to start screening until you're an adult. So for me, it's like, if that's going to keep my mom around, if that's what would have kept my dad around, if that's what would have kept all my relatives around, you know what I'm saying, and here today, or maybe a longer, maybe even just an easier fight. You know what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah.
And if it comes down to me knowing that what they went through and their suffering, and if that would have kept them there, then that's what's going to keep me there, guess what, bro? And you're going to fucking do the same thing.
I was watching, I don't know, this is dude I be following on Instagram, West Coast Curry.
Yeah.
How you know he be having his grandparents and him smoke weed.
Yeah, his dad is part of the Pop Brothers that
You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying that goes on. They smoking weed, they still living. They don't look like they got any problems though. I'm just saying that weed really works. So that's what I'm saying.
But
like,
you can't smoke trash. You can't smoke buckler. Am
no,
I right or wrong? You need to smoke some kind of quality.
you gotta smoke quality.
You know, I really don't feel qualified to like have an opinion on that, because the more I learn, the more I feel like the less I know about cannabis. Like, because what you could interpret as quality is highly controlled growing conditions, humidity, nutrients. So like these outrageous THC percentages you see in the California rec market, I don't buy half of that shit. When someone's like, oh, it's 51%, like, so you're telling me that this flower is 50% resin? Because that's essentially what THC is. It's a flower and it creates resin. And the idea that the plant could, that's like saying I'm a 380-pound woman. You know what I mean? It's like, well, that's not the way the genetic express themselves, you know? Like,
right.
So the THC content, or I've kind of separated appraising cannabis into two categories. The look, like when I'm buying weed, I smell it, I look at it, I'm appraising it on that. But when I smoke it, it's a completely different thing. So am I really appraising cannabis at its value and its quality? What's good? It's a very subjective thing because it can be looked at from a multitude of levels. Is it the cannabinoid profile? Is it, so you could smoke some outdoor that has 16%, but the cannabinoid profile is well put together and you get an extremely euphoric entourage effect. Or you can smoke some shit that's 31%, it might give you a headache. Like, and so who knows, And there's over 180 known cannabinoids and other components like terpenes, and the terpenes play a huge role in the entourage effect. I mean, to really think that I have a qualified opinion, I just don't know. I just know that I don't know,
Yeah, that's kind of crazy shit right there, right? So the truth is that you really don't know because somebody can grow an outdoor plant that can be superior to,
I was just watching something on YouTube.
I smoked some fire indoor. Outdoor. Where I just felt like the first time I got high, like euphoria.
I saw it.
That's what
it's a clean flower, right? It wasn't grown with no processed chemicals.
So I can tell you guys. I can tell you guys that it hasn't. I've seen a lot of downsides to the legalization of cannabis. I've seen it wipe out amazing cultures. We would over the years, at one point I was doing purchasing for shops. So I'd meet these hippies that would come down from up north and dude, the most hilarious shit, picture one guy with 6 girls and they all look like they're dressed from the girls at Little House on the Prairie, long dresses. They're like the weird trimmer girls from up north and the hills and shit. And these dudes would come and these are guys that were generational growers. Their dad was a grower. And it's I don't know if I should say his name, but it's, hilarious hippie names. Would come and just drop off weed and listen to some of those fire weed and when someone asked, how do you grow such good weed outdoor? And one of the tricks that they did was they would cover the plants in their flower stage with these big trash bags and they would pump the nitrogen in a balloon over the plant. And that's one of the tactics that got them good weed. They came up with a lot of sophisticated irrigation systems and nutrients where they I think it's called aquaponics, where they use the farm to feed the grow and these people aren't criminals by all means. These are good people that are growing a crop for their family.
I think that could be a generational growth. Your grandfather would grew weed.
Have you seen their kids running around and grow? And to us, it's so foreign. But to them, it's they really are.
That's how they live it. That's how they
life.
That's how they sustain their lifestyle.
Yeah.
That's why.
And all that shit's gone.
You feel comfortable smoking weed around your kids. Yeah, I do, because I don't want my kids to grow up with the same stigma that I'm trying to break in society. And by hiding that, but telling me that smoking cigarettes is okay in front of little kids, that to me is
because sometimes
oxymoron.
Because smoking weed in front of your kid, right? Because you got to show your kid that you still functional.
Yeah.
While you high, because like you said, there's a stigma that you smoke weed, you gonna crash your car, you can see the news, you're gonna turn, you're going just the gates to really, which it really isn't. I don't know too many people who smoke weed that stop smoking weed to do harder drugs.
Yeah.
because the weed wasn't enough for them.
You feel I don't know nobody like that. Like, no, I'm not smoking weed because it's not doing nothing for me. Yeah, right.
And I seen how those kids weren't bad kids. Those weren't bad parents. Those are good people.
Yeah.
And I've already seen that it's a demonstrable model for people, for us to integrate cannabis into our culture and for it to be accepted. It doesn't hurt anyone.
Mm-hmm. Like you said, it helps kids. You know what I'm saying? There's so many families who kids are suffering from, kids are suffering from all types of seizures, autism, and them tensions and them marijuana substances. It helps those kids every day.
Yeah.
And it gives comfort to parents too. So I don't know, but the government would rather give them some pills, slow them down, make them bad. They gotta come see the doctor every week, get to juice their insurance, and there's another in this cycle.
Yeah. It's like every kid has ADHD and needs Ritalin now. It's like all of them. Are you sure?
You know what the crazy thing is, Jay, that I talked to some of my friends who have kids that have autism or that suffer from ADHD or ADD, and they don't want to even try cannabis.
Yes.
They don't even want to entertain the idea that cannabis might help them.
Because they think that the kid
And that's crazy.
Yeah.
To me, anyway. That's crazy.
Because you rather trust the government and the
I
pharmaceutical.
give my kids CBD.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You know that they have the profit of a Ritalin prescription calculated down to the number, to where every script that's written equates to $1,400 and something in profit. So when I had a friend who was a physician, and he was always getting taken out and getting gifts from the pharmaceutical reps. And I asked, hey, what's up with that? He's like, oh, they just want me to push their shit, but I'm not going to do it. And what I realized was that the allopathic healthcare medicine system is a top-down drug pushing mechanism. Like all their whole goal, they got that shit worked out to the number. They know how much money you're worth when they get you hooked on something. They don't give a shit about the side effects, the long-term consequences.
But not to cut you off, but it kind of makes sense. Once they got you hooked on that shit, your insurance is paying for it. Your insurance is covering a certain amount. So like, all right, so for 30 years, we're going to get this from him.
Yeah.
And they start adding up the numbers and like, now we got to get more people.
And those are the same dudes. Those are the same dudes that they rotate between the public and private sector of the FDA or the agricultural, the USDA. These people that make the laws are in those big companies that directly benefit from it, and they go back and forth and they all know each other. So the same shit that they're using in the food to get you sick, they see the doctors that prescribe you the shit to get you better, they come from the same shit and then benefit and profit off you the whole way. Sickness is a large scale fundraising mechanism, and cannabis disrupts that, or other plant medicines disrupt it.
Me personally, I only use the doctor for diagnosis. I go to Dr. Cicerone, I can find out and I go to my herb doctors, and I go to my own little remedies and take care of that.
I'm not dismissing.
I think it's pretty crazy how cannabis is, an article or a topic that they're talking about, and how it's keeping people healthy from coronavirus.
Yeah, CBGA, I believe, has been shown to block COVID.
You just can't be smoking with people though.
You smoke large amounts of weed, even if the way that we smoke weed, you're still getting a lot of that. So somebody who's not getting anything.
Well, I don't think that I think that the study didn't demonstrate it in humans. It actually was performed in like a petri dish. Mm-hmm. So I don't think you're getting enough CBG smoking it, because you're decarboxylating if you smoke it. I don't know how. To me, it would most likely have to be a nasal spray. A pure CBGA nasal spray for it to do anything.
Is that something you carry?
Something I'm making. Yeah. I've seen the research come out of.
Yeah, that's the way you can stop.
You actually, So there's an interesting podcast I watched with, I believe it was Dr. Malone, was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and this guy is an MD, PhD physician, and he referenced in Bangladesh, they actually underwent a public health campaign to teach people how to rinse their nose with either iodine or hydrogen peroxide diluted in water.
I always do nasal rinses because I have bad allergies, but I use saline. And they got like a little, they're like one of those little sports drink squirt bottles. And you just squirt your nose with this shit.
Or anything.
Flush it,
As long as you can get it through your mouth, through your nasal cavity.
Girls be using industrial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're called, you could buy them at the store called neti pots. It's
Yeah,
just
neti
like,
pots,
you just put in your nose.
But I don't like the neti pot. I like the squirt bottle because it's way more easier. Because you gotta bend your head back and forth. Because I got bad sinus allergy. When that shit was going, I gotta do everything. And at one point, that was giving me the most relief. It was nasal roses.
So what they found in Bangladesh was that they underwent this public education campaign to teach people to do this, because what happens is COVID has about a 3-day incubation period where it needs to be in your nasal cavity for 3 days for the virus to replicate. And you lower the viral load to a point where your body can fight it off. So it's as simple as just snorting some hydrogen peroxide up your nose every night. It's that simple. So you don't need to use any exotic product.
So in one of those little machines that flushes the water through your nasal cavity, put a little hydrogen peroxide and some warm water.
I do it about 1/4. So I do about.
It's saline?
No, I do about 1/4 hydrogen peroxide. And if I've been around a lot of people, like for instance, now that I'm sort of the cannabis is sort of mainstream, I went to a trade show last week, and man, I had someone from every part of the world in my face for 5 days straight. And so what I did to prevent it from getting sick, and sure enough, like a couple days in, I started to feel a scratchy throat, and I went to the store, did the nasal thing, and next day felt but the afternoon was fine. So I've done that about 3 or 4 times. I felt it coming on, and I'll just do the rinse, and sure enough, it's worked for me. I'm not a doctor, I just heard this guy who's obviously very intelligent say this. He referenced something that made sense. It made sense to me. I tried it.
Nasal rinses is good. You should get all that dirt and stuff out your nose.
Yeah, but he's doing it with hydrogen peroxide.
I'm gonna put that in. I gotta get another nasal pot because
Warm water and
my
hydrogen
allergies have
peroxide.
been fucked up. You got bad allergies, sinus problems.
Only when I smoke super pollinated weed.
Really? That's
I got right here, real swollen cavities. Makes it hard for me to breathe. Yeah, try to do deep breathing.
Oh, I heard you mention it, and I was asking, well, what exactly is Delta 9? Because we know Delta 8 and they put a Delta 8 edibles and stuff like that. So what exactly is Delta 9?
So Delta 9 is one of the over there's over 100 cannabinoids, and Delta 9 is one of them. And it seems to be kind of the most desirable psychoactive effects. Like I've tried Delta 8, Delta 10, HHC, THCO, and everyone's sort of like they want this. Everyone that's given to me, that wants to make products for them, kind of looks at me like, with this like, hey, are you going to make me rich look? Kind of the same expectation. I told him, I'm like, honestly, I think it all comes back to Delta 9. So,
because Delta 8 is going crazy. It's a big Delta 8 crazy edibles right now.
It's about 50%.
It's like the new New York scam right now.
I wouldn't call it a scam.
No.
It's just, it's about 50%. I mean, again, this is all anecdotal. It's not science. It's just, but from what people report, it's about 50% the potency of D9. So you say you take 1,000 milligrams of D8, it's probably like taking 500 milligrams of D9. To me, it's a little more in the body. Actually, I prefer a ratio Delta 8 CBD. So I actually have a rating. I'll put on my backpack. I'll show it to you. It's a ratio to Delta 8 to CBD gummy.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually like the high. It's a body high. So these other minor cannabinoids, they are effective, but I think Delta 9 is from what I could see now, the desired effect of what people like,
So Delta 8 is safe for the listeners. I know a lot of it's a bad stigma.
Delta 8 federally legal right now?
Delta 8.
I know that they've gone back and forth.
Delta 8 is federally legal.
We had these here, no? I feel like I see these
Here's a new
here.
one. You got this one.
I feel like I see these here, no?
So this is what could be distributed.
One.
But we had the straight THC.
Okay.
No,
So it's Delta 8.
It is.
THC.
So this is not going to get you high.
It's a body high, which is cool because Sometimes my body's high, like you said.
How many milligrams is this?
They're 25. So it's 25 milligrams of Delta 8 and 25 milligrams of CBD. To me, it's, for whatever reason, I prefer Delta 8 ratioed with a 1-to-1 of CBD.
You decide.
That's what I like, yeah.
It tastes good. And it hits you with a blast at the end. It tastes good. Looks like a sweet sour patch. It tastes good. And
What about-
boom? But you ain't get to it yet. Watch this. Watch
And it's
this.
vegan.
What's the average dosage?
It all depends. Everyone is so different. There's some people that metabolize it different.
You eat the whole bag.
You're fine.
Look, you
I
got-
ate like 5.
That shit is strong. The edibles are strong as shit, son. After you always got that. They
So-
so remind you that this shit is a fucking edible.
So I can sell this shit online anywhere because it's Delta 8. And
Oh, yeah.
yeah, so this, compared to the California metric system where you're paying 40% of tax, by the time it hits the end consumer, they're paying $20 for something they could have paid 10 for. Like, this is cool because it can be sold anywhere. And what you're doing is you're introducing cannabis to people who may never have it. You got to think that we're very unique, like in the sense that we're deep in like sort of the most urban environments at Los Angeles, New York. Cannabis is in abundance. Our culture, hip hop, me, like I came from graffiti culture. So like I've always been around it my whole life. Cannabis is accessible to me, but cannabis isn't accessible to Susie in Nebraska or Ann in Louisiana. You know what I mean? Like there's people out there that why do I get the benefit from you don't? So to me, like having the ability to sell Delta 8, CBD, other cannabinoids to anyone, that's to me it's exciting, and it's not any less beneficial.
And it's vegan. Full of vegan people.
It's 2 hours to get the full effect.
Them shits work, man.
You shouldn't eat this so it wasn't.
I approve enjoyable edible, all the products.
Somebody gets this package, they eat 5 of them, right? What are the feelings? What are some of the
Well,
effects someone might feel?
so
from that?
that's a very, for me it's a very broad answer
Is
because
there a mental, a psychoactive effect?
What 5 of them doing for you?
for me it's more of just a warm euphoric feeling. But what I've sort of observed with people with cannabis is that it comes down to a set and setting, just like psychedelics. And set and setting in the psychedelic sort of vernacular means that it's all about your mindset, where you're at, where you eat it, and then your setting, where you're at physically. So where you're at mentally and where you're at in your space. And I'm sure you guys know that you've probably taken some substance and been in an uncomfortable environment. It's horrible.
Not even that, but I heard, right? Because I didn't have people who had mushrooms. Like once somebody used to sell, like I think they call it Wonderland, those chocolate mushroom edibles.
Yeah.
Right. I gave somebody one of those shits one time, and he called me back talking about he heard the devil talking to him. And I said, I'm dead. He's like, yo, bro, the devil was talking to me. He's in my room, bro. I was like, bro, I don't know what you got going on in your life, but it's something that you got going on. Why? Because, like he said, setting.
Setting. It wasn't the mushrooms, yeah. It was him.
I ate a 350 grams of Rice Krispie treats. Some people have heard me tell this story before. I ate one of the enjoyable 350 milligrams. I get on a JetBlue flight going to Cali. I'm sleeping. We hit turbulence. The plane goes up. My body, my soul go up. My body goes down. My soul looking at my body.
Yeah, like that.
What you mean? You had an out of body experience.
My guy, look, now
You seen yourself sitting in the chair?
I look. Next thing I know, boom, we hit another bump. I start freaking out. I wake up, I'm freaking out. I wake up, I'm freaking out.
You going through the clouds.
He already changes right now.
I was freaking the fuck out, dude. Like I was with one of my homies. I woke up. I said, "Yo, bro." He said, "Yo, what happened?" I said, "Bro, the craziest shit. Bro, I haven't had an enjoyable ever for almost 3 years. And then I only started having
You
the
scared
10
him.
milligram, the 10 milligram joints. He started setting 100 milligram the whole pack, 10 milligrams. So I eat
Oh,
like
it's
2 a
scared
day.
right now. That's why he need to know.
Everybody's different.
No, these are no, I'm good.
Everybody's different, yeah.
These are
Them
no, I'm
shits
good.
fuck
These are
me
no
up,
big
bro.
deal.
I ain't gonna hold you.
This is not the same as the ones that are upstairs. You know what I'm saying? This is different. This made me tell.
But sometimes, like I said, that heavy shit fuck your night up. Like I said, them edibles that we got, right? That gave me the drugs, right? Them shits fucked over my whole New Year's Eve, bro.
Well, I mean, listen, nobody told you to eat the whole fucking can. In fact, I told you several times.
And my homeboy got so paranoid, his girl took him to the hospital. Fuck with that shit. Me and Mo gassing it okay, bro.
It's a very common thing because most people haven't met themselves at that level.
Yo,
It's not the THC. It's that they've never really
they never been that high.
they've never seen the behind the scenes. And cannabis, when ingested, is metabolized into something completely different called 11-hydroxy. 11-hydroxy is 50 times more potent than Delta 9, so it is psychedelic. So when people say, "Oh, I feel like," they're really, really tripping. But the thing is, they're tripping beneath the surface, and it wasn't the cannabis. The cannabis pulled back the curtain; they got a glimpse, and that's why there's such a huge variation in experience.
Yeah,
because not everyone has it together behind the scenes.
Yeah, because I even go from when I start tripping, I'll be like, "Nah, I'm just tripping, man."
Dude, man, I was bugging the fuck out, and that's not the first time it happened to me. It happened
I
to me
never
a
had
time
an
before
out-of-body
that where
experience.
I didn't see my body, right? But I wasn't able to open my eyes. I was sleeping, and then I could hear everything around me.
I heard that happen to a lot
But
of
I
people.
couldn't open my eyes. I couldn't talk. I couldn't move. It was like I was trapped in my body.
Yeah, I heard
It
that
was
happen to a lot
the
of people.
craziest feeling that I was like, you know
I
what?
heard that happen to a lot of people. You got to
Fuck
know
this
it
shit.
happens to a lot of people where they
Fuck
they
that
get up
shit.
from out their sleep and their eyes is open
Right,
and
nah,
they
man, I
can't
was on the
move,
fucking
talk,
plane.
nothing for
Yeah.
a couple of seconds and then they can snap
I
out.
was on the it was it happened for a couple of seconds, man.
Yeah,
No more than
I
10,
know.
15 seconds.
I know
was
like
on
10
plane
people
going
would
to
have
Vegas.
happened to, bro.
Bugged me the fuck out.
Bro, I
I
know
don't want
like
to tell you, bugged me the fuck out.
I know like 10 people would have happened to. No shit.
No, I'm not playing with that.
Come on, we know all those brothers, man. So you don't smoke?
I do.
You do?
I just I'm gonna hang out with a friend right now, so I just want to be high.
So it's gonna fuck your name. Edibles gonna fuck your name more than smoking, I'll tell you that.
Listen, man,
Shoot
I
on
want some of these. I want some more of these things.
I feel rude that I didn't bring a bunch, but they won't let you bring a certain amount on the plane.
No worries, man. No worries, man.
I kind of feel them shits a little bit like feel it in my back.
Me and Sonny are gonna come out to LA next week. No,
Yeah.
not next week. In March, first week of March.
Let me know.
Cool.
I'm ready.
I'm gonna come hang. We'll go have dinner or whatever. But I'm gonna come hang out with you.
Yeah, of
Today. We're
course.
gonna do some things.
My honor.
I'm gonna show Sonny around, have my old stomping grounds
Oh,
in
boy.
LA and
Hold on.
Orange County.
Here you
I'm
go.
coming to.
There you go,
Ain't
Mo.
no Sunny without L.
Well, I
Here
don't
we
have
go.
a cool podcast, but I could definitely show you guys around.
Nah, I
That's
wouldn't
cool.
say it's a cool podcast.
I would. I think this is
We're gonna
one
vlog it and put it on the YouTube page.
Shit, we're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. We're on Google Talk, Apple Talk. We're on all these stuff.
It didn't make sense why you asked me to be on it until now. I feel very grateful that you see me that way. Like I don't like.
Nah, you're a
I
pioneer.
tend to forget. You know, I'm just. I
No,
love what I
you
do.
know, listen.
People like you matter.
I want to tell you guys something. I want to tell everybody a real quick story about how I met this young man. So I was doing business with another guy who was at the time very involved in on the backdoor dispensary work and stuff like that. And he's at the time I needed some edibles. So edibles were coming in hard. It was like approximately like 2018, right? Somewhere around that area, where this guy's like, hey man, I know this guy, let's go talk to him, and so I'm like, all right, cool, fuck it, let's go. So I get there and he's got all these different types of brownies and all these, I'm like, yo, fuck, this is great, man. So I took a few, right? I didn't take much. I took a few, I think, and then I ended up linking him separately, I think, by one time, and I took an order from him, and then I was like, all right, some shit happened, I lost the whole shit. I lost everything. Fuck. The whole fucking order. It was like a $15,000 or $20,000 order or
He
something.
never told me. He never.
And so I told him, look, I need 2 weeks. This is the day I was taking the stuff, right? It was at the end of my trip. I was getting ready to leave, so I had no more cash on me. I used all my cash for whatever else I had. So he's like, hey man, no worries. I know you came with the homeboy. It's cool. I'll give you whatever the 2 weeks you want. I lost that shit like the next 2 days later.
Fuck.
So I went back 2 weeks, right? Just on time. I went right back and said, yo, here's the thing. Paid him for everything in full. And I told him what happened. And he was like, that's what's up. And we've been, more than just business associates. Since
Moby comes to my house. And
yeah.
Yeah.
Once again, we always preach on the show, relationships
is worth more than
Did you
money.
hear what he just said?
Yeah, you cut his house.
I go to this fool's house.
I wanted the sort of the rules, and was that you
never
move lightly, and you don't like.
Summertime, Moby's throwing a big barbecue at his estate. And we're all gonna be invited. Don't worry, man. You get to go back to his crib. He showed me he got the whole fucking shit like the Ganser for a rooftop.
Let me tell you
in his
something.
backyard.
Man. I want to tell you something. My backyard
It's fire.
is partially the way it is because of this guy. And the way that when I walked into his house, I was like, I was like this.
Like I'm next.
Chilling, waiting in his
I'm
backyard.
next, man.
Very humble. One of the most
Nice.
honest, hardworking guys I've ever met in my life. I swear to you, one of the most hardworking, honest, humble guys I've ever met in my life. And you know what? He'll never call you for anything. And if you call me, answer the phone, you're like, yo, I need you. No problem. Yes or no. Always. It's always been that way for me.
It goes
This
both
one?
ways.
Super appreciated, man. Seriously,
This one?
a great dude. Yeah, that's the point.
Being a good guy, stand up guy, and a fucking marijuana community.
It goes both ways.
We only know who-
This guy treated me the same way.
What would the city be without both you guys,
That's
man?
why it's always good to have a good friendship business.
Yeah.
You need to do good business in this industry.
It takes it from business to a good friendship. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
Sometimes
that's how me and was. I ain't know him from a hole in the wall, but we was just how y'all are.
Yeah.
Like
Do good
it's
business.
like it just became a friendship. It's no longer even business. We don't do that.
Yeah.
This is just he my cold friend.
I created
You understand? That's
I
how
created some really cool relationships.
Yeah, and that's what's
It makes
amazing
it like-
about this
it makes it
industry,
like
right? You're in
good.
this
It makes it
industry
like
10 years. You might not say like, all right, maybe I don't have a lot of friends, but you got a lot of people that you know in this industry that you've created relationships with, that you know if you were to obtain or try to do something in that area, that they're a go-to, or at least somebody that you have that can help you start off in that industry. And I'm sure there's a handful of people, if not more than a handful of people, that you've met throughout the 10 years that maybe from 10 years ago you're still dealing with and doing work with today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If not, have built a bigger relationship. I'm sure Enjoyables, I don't know too much about the company itself, but is it something that you do by yourself? Is there a team
Oh
involved?
no, there's no way I can do it by myself. There's quite a bit of people. Because we have to have separate manufacturing facilities for the license side and the hemp side, and then there's separate, other duties that require its own attention. So it's quite a bit of work. Like the amount of accounting, the amount of preparation, the machinery, the people. I'm not sure. I think we have about 35 employees. 40 maybe.
the operations must
So
be like,
Enjoyables is not an easy run.
No, it's tough. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
But I'd be bored if I wasn't consistently challenged. And you got to think I went from trying to hurry up and trim my pack of weed to go sell it to having manufacturing that like I said, helps and it puts a roof over my family's head. And like you said, the being grateful, like that's a real thing. Like, man, I felt what it's like to not have shit. I felt what it's like to grind,
Yeah.
And
Then to be outcast by your family for the decision at one point. So now you get to be like,
So
I
here's-
told you.
it wasn't all of them.
Here's the thing.
Some of them were, but it's funny because the ones that kind of like gave me shit through shade, they asked me for a job, a couple
See,
years back.
ain't that
And
a
these are my
bitch?
cousins. And that's the real shit.
It's hilarious
And
that you say
if I
that.
could encourage anyone out there, to do what you want to do, don't listen to anyone except yourself. And if you believe in yourself and you feel like you're doing the right
Go
thing,
for it.
don't let anyone tell you
You
can't.
fucking go for it.
Go for it, yeah.
You know how many people in my family were like, I can't believe this is what you want to do with yourself. I can't believe this is what you do. And now they're like, it's so crazy how you're still doing this.
Yeah.
So how do I invest?
Yeah, how do
I get
Yeah.
Now you want to be involved.
Now you want to just walk in after you were trying to make me eat your shit.
Yeah.
Let's go
You
get
know what I
pretty
mean?
pink.
There's some that you can let in because they were like the whole time supported you, and then there's some that you can't let in. You know what I mean? You gotta be real particular.
For me, the books is closed.
It's real tough.
That's crazy. You started from this. I don't know.
And then on top of that, probably leaving a good financial situation. That's believing in yourself, believing in a vision. Because he's seen this shit like, nah, what the fuck am
What
I
were you
doing?
doing before real estate?
I was fighting.
You were fighting.
Yeah,
What you
fighter,
did?
yeah. That was
You were a fighter in like MMA.
yeah, and
What?
a professional.
You're a professional
And
MMA fighter.
and don't play with
How
him
can
because
we,
he's
is
gonna
there
break
YouTube
you up.
videos on you?
Yeah.
How do we pull up a YouTube video?
My homeboy did MMA. He just had a fight that he lost, but that was his last fight.
Oh, you're gonna put me on blast.
Let me see.
Don't play with him either, bro.
What
Just
is
because he sound cool, he will break you up in the arm,
What are we looking
in the
for?
back of your neck.
If you can type it in. We don't gotta say your name out on blast. Just type in your last name. I put your first name already. All right.
Oh, shit.
Go to YouTube.
Oh shit!
Here we go.
And he got a good record, 7-3. It takes a lot of
Why'd
heart,
you start
man,
fighting?
to get in that ring and fight like that.
Why did I stop or when?
Why did you stop?
We should take over, man.
I don't know. It was
lit. Like
It wasn't like I was like, oh, I'm gonna just be a fighter. I did it since I was in my teens, and I had a genuine interest in martial arts. And my trainer said, hey, one day he's like, you're gonna fight. And there wasn't amateurs back then. It was what's called smokers. And you would just go to picture like some Karate Kid shit, where you go to one gym and they're your rivals.
You're in the black trunks here, right?
Oh yeah, that's me.
In the white.
Dwight, yeah.
In the white trunks.
Yeah.
All right.
Actually, I think this is a highlight video for the other guy. Somebody made this for his highlight.
Get out of
Have you
here.
seen? I don't know.
Nah.
Yeah, this fight went to decision, and the resolution sucks. Go to another one.
I mean,
see
listen,
how they just had you in a bad situation?
that's in a bad
This
situation.
situation is
Try
tragic.
can you go to the homepage?
Because a regular person in the street, you liable to break his arm now. It's like, walk off. Like I told you, stop playing with me.
There's probably better footage.
That shit right there, man, put you in the wrong position.
Just scroll the first one.
Peeing on itself.
Like I was training for a little bit doing that jiu-jitsu with my homeboy. And my homeboy fight.
Oh, I did see what Instagram.
Yeah, like I'm telling you, son, they hit you with a bad situation.
Hold on. Listen.
My hands not at work.
Don't play with some of y'all.
Can I see?
Jiu-jitsu when you niggas.
He gotta go up another.
Oh my
Oh,
God,
You
you
know
doing
some
that.
strikes.
Oh my God, you doing that.
We're gonna figure it out, boy. All right, let's see.
Try the second one. That's a lot.
This one right here.
That's a lot. If you could see it. Now this was in the Middle East, in Kuwait.
This is in Kuwait.
Yeah.
So you went on a professional fight to Kuwait. This is Gladiator
You went to Kuwait
Fighting
fight?
Championship.
Oh shit.
And now this is obviously not you.
No, it's not me.
That's not you. We can.
Well, just fast forward. This is like the Middle East fighting yet.
This guy taking his time walking in. What's his deal?
He's a nice guy.
You still talk to him?
We don't talk.
You don't talk.
I think he's from Jordan or something. I
now-
actually made friends with people I fucking on him.
Fuck this guy.
All right, so now this is him still walking in. This guy. It's fucking taking forever. This guy. What's up with him? All right. Do you have your own walk-in?
Yeah, I think that's me. No, yeah, I should. Right?
Let's see. This is still this guy.
Yeah.
This video's 9 minutes.
I just
3 minutes. This
I
guy's
never
walking.
thought about that. He was taking his time, huh?
This probably gonna be a quick one.
Right there.
This is you.
Yeah, that's me.
Oh,
Like,
shit.
This is a younger Jay. What year is this?
I don't know. I think
Before the edibles and the real estate.
No, that wasn't that young. I was like 30 there. Maybe like 2015 or something.
They got a Saudi prince.
So now what happens in this fight? It's not that long, obviously.
I choke him.
You choke him
Break
out.
them up. Are you like ready for some shit? You got me walking.
Yeah, I had to sit in the plane for like 14 hours. I was pissed.
And then it's tight, like, oh, I fuck this nigga up, bro.
Now you get off the flight and you gotta go. You gotta fight this guy same day.
No, they put me like in a resort and shit. It's like I'm chilling.
Look at this guy. Runs in the ring. He starts doing circles. He's already wasted 10% of his energy.
That's hilarious.
Sorry. So now you're in Kuwait. You're fighting this guy. Now this is what, your first fight ever?
No, I'm already like well experienced by this. This is the end of my career.
This is the end of your.
Yeah,
Now why'd you
I started
finish fighting?
when I was 24.
What happened? Why'd you
I got
stop?
old at 30. You just don't want to do that shit anymore.
I mean, listen, Jason Butcher, who is an MMA fighter who's got both belts right now, and I think the light heavyweight division or some shit
Turtle
like that.
Pie fighter, right?
Is he's being sponsored by Turtle Pie Co., a company out in the Bay, a cannabis company, a weed brand, colonial brand out in the Bay. Sponsoring this guy. This guy, 30 something years old. I think he's like 34, 35 years old, about to go. Waiting for Dana White to call him. So it's not too late for you to get back into it.
No,
You ain't fucking around that shit.
you have a physical prime. It's between about 28 and 32, and you can fight. Don't get me wrong, but if you fight at the world elite level, you need to be within that.
You see.
So this guy here, he's obviously got height over you.
I don't think he's a little bigger.
Right, you're coming off a clean, you're chilling,
Got him.
and now this is the
Look at
joke.
him.
Yeah,
So-
he made a tactical mistake.
The lock was in.
He's pretty good, and I just caught him slipping.
Caught him slipping. You
So
see the
you
lock.
choked him out within 25 seconds of the fight.
I think so. Yeah.
Cleaned him out. Sick. You don't want to go to sleep.
I was kind of. I mean,
So and then you did security at the nightclub. Right?
drooling.
You tried to do security at a nightclub.
No, I've never done security. I'm rather unopposing. The skill set doesn't match up with the looks.
I think that's super dope, man. Well, listen, you've come a super long way from a professional MMA fighter to a real deal business Fortune 500 company, whether acknowledged by companies like Forbes or not. You are a true pioneer in this industry in such a short time that you've been involved in. I look forward to doing a lot more work with you and being a part of your future journeys. What does it take for a company like you to continue to go each and every day? Like, how do you exceed what you got going on?
That's another tough question. I think that when I see people that succeed, the common thread is that they don't stop trying. And I want to say something like, "Oh, be a good person, it'll work out for you," but that's kind of the truth. Because I've seen people that are not the best, that are hard workers, succeed.
Right.
And I've seen people who are really good people, but not hard workers, not succeed.
Right.
So if I'm honest with myself, it's probably the never give up, hard work, focused determination, whether it's good or bad.
So the second part you say seen what?
So
You seen hard, you seen
I've
See
seen,
shitty people work hard.
yeah, and
Go to the top.
and go to the top, and I've seen people that just, great people.
You deserve it.
Yeah,
Just don't work hard.
Like me.
But you a lazy fuck. That's why you don't get it like that.
Yeah.
And you get it. Imagine if you weren't so lazy, how you get it. See, you put yourself on blast.
That's what I'm trying to say, but not because now I'm trying to understand me. You understand? So it's like now I'm just trying to figure out now, like that's why I'm glad. So like these podcasts and being around.
Give this kid a mushroom gummy, would you? He found himself
Well,
tonight.
he
Find himself
He
somewhere.
already said it. He said, "I'm trying to understand me." And you know, my me is different than his me.
Of
And
course.
everyone's me is different. And
Uh,
if someone wants to do something different with their life, so be it. And for me, I felt compelled to do something, and I ran with it. I don't think that, I'm not going to be on my high horse and be like, "Yo, everyone should do this." I think everyone should try to be themselves. And whatever themselves is, it's probably the most beautiful thing you can do for yourself.
But even like I tell you, anything take time. When he started off clipping, it's cleaning the walls.
Yeah,
he
yeah,
didn't know
scrub the
10
walls.
years scrubbing the walls. He
Yeah.
know 10 years later was going, but he just kept on grinding, kept on grinding.
It's different from living out here in California.
Now,
Yeah,
let's set the record straight, Jay, because the picture that we've painted so far for enjoyables is like a roller coaster that's only on its way up. There's been some real serious downs,
Always.
right?
Oh,
and
man.
throughout the 10 years
Hell yeah.
that you've had to face and push through
Yeah.
to keep going to get to where you are.
What was like
It
some of
hasn't
the
been
defiant moments where he was
walls.
like a major thing that happened and he was like, damn man, I'm fucking
Was
done
there,
with
was
this shit,
there an
yo.
almost fuck this moment?
Word,
You know,
like,
like,
you know what?
I don't want to do this shit no more.
You know what?
Call my real estate.
In 2016, I went from being a professional athlete to extremely sick. And I think I was sick for 4 years. And I went from 150 pounds to 120 pounds. I literally almost died. I couldn't digest food. The doctors sent me to every specialist. I ended up them not being able to figure out what's wrong. I went to Mayo Clinic, which is the world's foremost hospital in Minnesota. My life almost ended, and cannabis helped me a whole lot. And to be perfectly honest, nothing really stacked up against that in terms of hardship. It was so hard to do anything, and my family was there for me. My brother ran the company. We just did it, we struggled and we made it, and it only galvanized my resolve to want to help others, because I know what it feels like to suffer. And I know that, everything could be great. If you don't feel good, life isn't good.
Yeah.
And, and seeing how cannabis touched so many lives, everything I talked about, how I was sort of, I was disillusioned with the way that society just, kept cannabis from us and poisoned us with pharmaceuticals, and all those things in my own experience just made me just more determined, where I was like, yo, this is what I'm supposed to do. It's almost like it was like blatantly obvious to me that was my path, So that's why I know that it's not just, hey, one size fits all. My circumstances were very unique, and I just trusted my intuition and myself. And yeah, things were hard, or things did suck, or it wasn't always great, and it's still not great. I work hard every day because I don't know what else I would do. And whatever that is for somebody, it could be anything. And that's what's cool, is that I'm not necessarily, as much as I appreciate the praise, I'm not any different. I'm just someone who's like, okay, this is what I want to do. And everybody has that inside them, that little voice,
Yeah, this is what we're talking about, being humble. You know what I'm saying? The guy who can change the world, doing things. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't even want nobody to know. He just wants to do better. Just wants to be better. That's real, true. That's real. Man.
Yeah.
That's some real shit. We appreciate it. For more people like that, society probably wouldn't be in the shithole that it's in right now.
Most people are decent. It's just that they're afraid of ridicule. And that's what I've sort of observed, is that all this, we're against each other, bullshit.
They're afraid of what someone's going to say.
That's nonsense, dude. There's a fraction of the population that's hard, that are assholes. And in the 90th percentile are very decent people. We all laugh, we all cry, we all want the same things. And there is certain unifying things that kind of make people realize that we are one big human family.
Yeah.
So, I'm all about those unifiers. I'm all about that, hey, what makes people, hopefully that I could inspire other people to maybe begin to see that there's more to life. There's more than just things. There's more. There's so much more. There's loving your brother and sister, and seeing somebody that's around the globe as you, because they are you.
Yeah. Well, we are all different, but we are all alike. So that's great. And so, that being said, I think that today's episode is
very educational.
Really,
lots of it.
Really
motivated me today.
I really want to send how much we appreciate you joining.
Really appreciate what you and your company has done for the marijuana community.
Jay probably didn't even know that I did a podcast, right?
Never. You told me yesterday, and I said, okay, I'll do it. Even though
it's kind of maybe you could come on the podcast. So he was like, okay, cool. I'm like, all right, dope. So he probably came on, didn't know what to expect today, but I thank you so much for coming on to the show, blindly, and being such an amazing guest.
You've been enjoying
knowledge and stuff that you put out there. It's really been truly amazing. Follow
it's enjoyables.ca on Instagram. Yeah.
So follow enjoyables.ca on Instagram. They have a website as well. They got some amazing products, and they, as you've heard, a lot of their products are really made to benefit you. Not a lot, all the products are made to benefit you.
Same shit made in your mom's kitchen, man.
So definitely give them a follow.
This right here is really for you.
Episode of 448 Cannabis Talk. We truly appreciate our guest joining us all the way from California as he landed today. Thank you again, Jay. Really do appreciate you.
My brother.
I'm Moby Dank. This is Sunny Pat's Premium. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you guys and hearing from you guys next week.
Episode 17, man.
From now till then. Have a great night.
Peace.
Peace and love.
Yes, sir, Steve.
That was super cool.
That was a
Thank you, guys.
episode, man.
What an honor.
Thank you, man. Thank you
What
for
you
coming
did
out
too,
and rocking
just
with us.
enlighten the world on what's going on. Don't give up. Keep striving.
It always feels crazy when someone like, to me, I just like I just did it. You know, it doesn't.
Nah, you did something.
It's crazy that you really that she used to be in the real estate. Fuck that.
I'm a
Really,
big
that
shit.
shit-
I ain't
It's
trying
not
to
bad
bad
shit,
shit.
but that just goes to show you that at any point in life,
Someone
you can